In my whirlwind world of tech, my journey has zigzagged from the classrooms of MIT and Stanford to the unpredictable terrains of startups, taking roles I'd never imagined and battling personal and professional storms. How did I end up as a senior software engineer, you ask? And what exactly were my paychecks like at every twist and turn? Dive in with me as I unveil the intricacies of my story, the highs, the lows, and every paycheck in between. It's time to get candid. Let's dive deep. Back in 2017, I had this wild idea. At MIT's annual career fair, where companies set up booths to pitch their internships and job opportunities, I gave myself a little edge. I acted like I was gunning for a computer science major. This might sound weird at first, but here's the thing. At MIT, we don't really have to declare our major or take major-specific classes until our second year. And since I was eyeing aerospace engineering, I thought, why not a software job at an aerospace company? Well, it worked. I secured an internship as a software engineer for an aerospace company at a cool $18.50 an hour. At this point, I hadn't made that type of money before, so I was stoked. But here's the catch. The experience wasn't what I expected. Sure, the folks there were awesome, but the actual work? I wrapped up the coding project in just 2 weeks. The internship was 8 weeks long. The rest of my time, I was basically the go-to IT guy handling computer issues and software updates. Funny enough, this unexpected downtime led to something bigger. With some extra cash from the internship and plenty of time on my hands, I decided to start up this YouTube channel. Yep, that's right. This channel was born from the funds and free time of an unexpected summer internship. So while the job might not have been the thrill I hoped for, it gave me the push to do something I truly loved. Always a silver lining, right? Continuing from the surprising summer, as an intern, wrapping up was straightforward. If you're thinking about a return, the company made it pretty simple. By the end of the 8 weeks, there's an exit interview with your manager, and boom, you could get a return offer right there and then. But here's where I shook things up. Remember that slightly dull software engineering gig? Yeah, I didn't want a rerun of that. So I sat down with a VP who was in charge of placing interns, and he gave me a green light to pick any open internship across the company. That's when I stumbled upon a role that caught my eye, systems dynamic test engineer. So during the next summer, I jumped into testing real flight hardware. The highlight, I got to work on the James Webb Space Telescope, the same one that's now soaring through space. The internship came with a bump in the paycheck, a sweet $24.50 an hour, $6 more than the previous year. But even with the cool hardware and that beefed up salary, a majority of my time was spent doing mundane busy work, writing reports, poring over test documents. This was the summer that made me sit down and seriously question where I saw myself in the vast world of aerospace. Was I really meant for this cycle of Engineer 1, Engineer 2, and so on? I knew I could fast track my progress, so I aimed higher. While still knee-deep in aerospace tech, I decided I wasn't going to dive straight into work post-MIT. I set my sights on Stanford University's aerospace engineering grad program. The way I saw it, grad school would be my launch pad, propelling me past the usual job titles straight to senior roles. But first, I needed a roadmap. That's when I stumbled upon MIT's Laureates and Leaders program, designed to usher students like me towards PhD dreams in top-tier universities. Fortunately for me, I got into the program. And while I was still in California soaking in the aerospace world, I thought, why not take a sneak peek at what Stanford's got? So I took the initiative, cold emailed Stanford's aerospace professors, and voila, I managed to snag some lab tours. And during one of the tours, I took the leap and inquired about undergraduate research opportunities. One professor was on board, but threw down the gauntlet. I needed to secure funding. And just like that, my next mission was clear. Find the funds, dive deep into Stanford research, and let my aerospace dreams soar. Following that aerospace adventure, the summer of 2019 saw me headed to Stanford's vibrant campus. And guess what? It wasn't just a casual visit. Thanks to the Laureates and Leaders program, I stumbled upon the Stanford Surf program, which I immediately jumped on. With just 20 slots that year, it felt like winning the golden ticket when I landed one of them. What gave me an edge? I think it was the professor's connection I had made the year before. This program was a dream come true for me. Stanford had my back, covering travel, housing, and food. Plus, they threw in a $1,500 stipend. With that support, I was all set to dive into aerospace research at the lab I'd previously toured. I reached out to the same professor, and boom, I got the nod to immerse myself in their summer research. That summer was transformative. Not only did I get hands-on research experience, but I also forged meaningful connections that hold firm to this day. And the cherry on top, the very professor I collaborated with wrote a glowing recommendation, which I believe gave my Stanford graduate school application that extra oomph. Experiencing Stanford firsthand, mingling with its community and soaking in its academic ambiance, all while still being an undergrad, was a blessing. It gave me a preview of my future, a future I soon embraced by choosing Stanford for my next academic chapter. Riding the high from my time at Stanford, 2020 welcomed me with even more exciting opportunities. By January, I had my ticket punched for Stanford's esteemed aerospace engineering master's and PhD program. However, the universe had a little twist in store. Come February, I was approached by an entrepreneur with an ambitious vision of a drone startup. After some intense back and forths, I was onboarding with an enticing $75 an hour contract alongside a sprinkle of company shares. But then the world turned upside down with the pandemic. I found myself packing up from MIT and making a swift move to Alabama, diving deep into the lead engineering role for this promising venture. Once we showcased our demo, my equity in the company got a welcomed boost, but there was a catch. My monthly earnings took a hit, tipping to $8,000 gross, and let's not forget I was still technically a contractor, which meant no cushy job perks and a chunkier tax bill. During Stanford's first quarter, my days were split. Mornings guided fresh engineers at the startup, and nights dived into rigorous academic courses. Winter approached, a revelation hit me. Every ounce of my passion lay outside the confines of my virtual Stanford classroom. I was head over heels for this YouTube channel and the adrenaline-pumping startup world. So during the chilly winter break, I took a bold step. I hit pause on Stanford. It was time to recalibrate, refocus, and decide on my next grand adventure. 2021 seemed to have a plot twist for me at every turn. Just as I was recalibrating my focus, a familiar startup circle reached out. They were prepping for an investor demo and needed some insights. What started as a casual feedback session quickly transformed into a contracted software engineering role at $50 an hour, all thanks to my Python coding ability. But while I was building up my momentum there, the drone venture was in turbulence. We were in the midst of a funding round, and wearing my equity-heavy hat, I agreed to a salary pause until funds were secured. As fate would have it, a single bad actor in the founding team took the wind out of our sails, leading to the team falling apart in the summer of 2021. This sour note echoed in the other startup I was affiliated with, a twist I'd soon confront. Just as these professional storms were brewing, March 2021 had a personal blow in store. I was diagnosed with 2 autoimmune kidney diseases. Just a week before, I was at my physical peak, playing pickup games at Jordan Lawley's basketball gym in California. In previous videos, I talked about the aftermath of getting sick, but here's where I think the cause was. Between juggling the drone startup's uncertainties, relocating to Philly, managing a YouTube channel, and embracing a new startup, I'd hit my limits. The repercussions were immediate. Basketball, weightlifting, video creation, and even my routine tasks took a backseat. My stability was under threat, especially with the drone startup wage pause. However, I found solace and momentum in the new startup. My contributions were undeniable, leading to a full-time role encompassing everything from coding to investor demos. The cherry on top, a yearly compensation of $135,000 and a monthly $1,000 allowance for Boston commutes. This startup chapter was more than just a job. It was an educational goldmine. From understanding cloud distributed software architectures to mastering back-end and front-end codes, I was in a perpetual learning mode. Leadership in such a new environment was a feather in my cap. But once again, the shadow of the bad actor loomed large, and despite our collective potential, the company's runway was tragically cut short. By June 2022, the final paycheck signaled my exit. This exit wasn't just about finances. It was about my well-being, aspirations, and seeking a realm of stability. While I cherished the camaraderie in the product, life had taught me the value of self-preservation. With lessons from my uncertain times, I set my sights on fresh horizons, ready for my next adventure. Post-startup life brought an unexpected twist, a crossroads. While my YouTube channel flourished, the prospect of turning full-time content creator was tempting. Yet the moment it began to feel more like a mundane job and less like an outlet for positive vibes, I hesitated. From an outsider's perspective, it may seem like life's been a series of neatly falling dominoes for me, but truth be told, the 2-month hiatus between my startup stint and my current role was a phase of introspection and uncertainty. With an arsenal of diverse experiences from software engineering to a brief stint as an interim CEO, the dilemma was real. Do I specialize or do I generalize? The job market presented its own challenges. From conversations with recruiters to interview marathons, the journey was sprinkled with rejections, ghosts, and a host of not quite the right fit reasons. Just when I was about to pivot towards the allure of big tech roles, well-timed opportunity struck in the form of a LinkedIn post. What followed was a whirlwind of events leading to a new chapter at a post-Series A company, ripe with the potential of a startup, yet grounded with the stability that comes post-funding. Initially joining with an annual package of $125,000 and the stock options worth a little over $25,000. My journey in less than a year has seen a spike to $160K with an even juicier stock deal. For those curious about my rapid rise and the intricacies of securing the senior software engineering role without a CS degree, I've got 2 dedicated videos that you'll probably be interested in. As always, stay positive, stay inspired, and I'll catch you in the next one.